G'day guys and gal. Warhammer 40k is a lot of things. A grimdark rage against the darkness, a story of love between brothers and partners, and how damaging betrayal is. A light-hearted comedy where a dashing hero saves the day and gets the girl. All of these are Warhammer because Warhammer is so diverse and vast. However, Warhammer can also be incredibly frustrating. Positive, interesting plot lines abruptly end due to mistrust, misunderstanding, and naivety. Nothing highlights this more than the story of the Imperium's meeting with the Interex. Two mistrusting cultures of mankind with the same ideals, goals, and desire for cooperation, ruined because people thought they knew more than they did about stuff and jumped to conclusions. And yes, of course Erebus was involved. Before we get started, if you're looking for a fresh, straightforward, and very satisfying game, then today's your lucky day, as I've partnered up with World of Warships for this video. World of Warships is pretty well known, iconic if I may say so, and with good reason. It's free to play, looks and runs great, and you get to blow up people using a battleship. If my ship is looking suspiciously Warhammery, it's because it is. World of Warships is always adding new content to the game and has done crossovers with 40k before. I've actually previously partnered with them, which is why I have the big blue heretic sinker here. Just watch me pop off. Get wrecked, kid, we'll call it a draw. There's dozens of maps with different weather cycles and over 400 different unique warships, all with their own stats and special abilities. While I play on PC, World of Warships is also available for console, so you non-PC Master Race plebs won't be left out of the fun. So if you're looking for a satisfying, stunning game where you get to literally sink strangers on the internet's ships, then use my link and code BRAVO for 500 doubloons, 1.5 million credits, 7 days of free premium, and a free ship of your choice after you complete your first 15 battles. Cheers to World of Warships for sponsoring this video. Today we'll go over the Interex, who they were, some examples of their amazing technology, as well as their ill-fated encounter with the Imperium. We can also spend a little bit of time detailing what would have happened if Erebus didn't ruin everyone's day, or if the Interex weren't so trigger happy and nervous. Let's get into it. Before the big deed E arrived and whipped mankind and literally everyone else into shape, if for Xenos that shape is vastly different to what it functionally should be, the galaxy was a very hostile place for humans. See, we had been the kings of much of the galaxy for thousands of years, an age of technological enlightenment where humanity were low-key a bunch of gods. We had legions of advanced AI servants, weapons that could shred time and space itself, and e-girls were now physically tangible. It was great. However, I guess we all forgot about iRobot, or the Matrix, or Terminator, as we got blindsided by our AI servants and a war began. Even though mankind prevailed, our empire had been shattered, with countless deaths and loss of technology. We also lost our servant worker class as well, because, we had to kill them. To make matters worse, the Elder had gained a taste for violent blood orgies, causing Slaanesh to begin to form in the warp, which made warp storms appear everywhere, making warp travel nearly impossible and cutting off mankind's empire from itself. Deprived of our worker class, a lot of our technology, a lot of our population, as well as interstellar travel, humanity was easy prey for various Xeno races that genocided, enslaved, or consumed our people. To make matters even worse, Psychers started appearing, which was kinda cool for a bit before they all then went exorcist mode and started shitting out their dicks whilst demons used them as living portals to invade worlds. This is why the Age of Strife was, not mankind's favorite vibe, as well as how humanity was able to go from interstellar gods with technology that would make the Necrons look like orcs with too many chromosomes to a bunch of desolate worlds on the brink of collapse. Despite everything though, the wars, the demons, the Xenos, the lack of warp travel, one human civilization thrived where all else decayed. The Interex, a multi-system empire of human and Xeno planets who relied on common sense and peace rather than superstition and war. Their technology is miles above the Imperium of Man, either having been maintained since before the Age of Strife or even invented since. The biggest reason the Interex were able to thrive while everyone else ate shit had a lot to do with their attitude. They did not believe in tech heresy, hence did not deliberately kneecap their own science, allowing great quality of life improvements, akin to Tau technology, to be made. They also didn't develop a vicious hatred of Xenos, meaning that despite engaging in a war with an alien race called the Kinebrak, the two sides eventually signed a peace agreement and coexisted peacefully. The Kinnebrach had obscenely fucking dope technology, which the Interex used to further boost their advancements. To help with this, they developed a universal language translation method that used cosmic maths that was applicable and understandable in any advanced spacefaring race, except for the Imperium of Man, who thought it sounded like music and had no idea how to translate it. Even when faced with vicious alien races who had no desire to engage in any form of treaty or peace, they still avoided genocide. For example, the Megarachnids, a race of gigantic spider-scorpion insectoids that viciously killed and fed on their enemies. The Interex won the war against them, then placed their few survivors on an isolated world, deprived them of their interstellar travel capabilities and the means to build them, and then they just let them live in peace on their own sanctuary world. They then placed warning beacons around the world that spoke in the cosmic mathematical language. They were seen as so enlightened that the Elder, a race who was known to disdain humanity and see them as literal monkeys, approached the Interex and agreed to teach them about the wider galaxy and some of its secrets that they would never disclose to the modern-day Imperium. The Elder even told the Interex of chaos and how it must be persecuted and destroyed in all its forms. The Interex swore to eradicate chaos no matter where they found it, which, while a noble pledge, directly resulted in their damnation. Their weaponry, armor, and soldiers were also impressive. They clearly used some kind of genetic manipulation for their warriors, as they were all very tall. Their reflexes, speed, and strength were also very impressive, allowing one of their warriors to trade with and nearly overcome the Astarte lunar wolf Garviel Loken in a fair duel. Loken is known for his skill in melee combat, so the fact that he nearly got done is very impressive. Their armor is also more subtle and elegant, acting like a second skin rather than the bulky mass of Space Marine armor. For weapons, they favor energy and laser weaponry combined with more medieval templates. For example, some of them carry bows, which the Lunar Wolves made fun of because, you know, it's a fucking bow. However, they were able to fire hypercharged laser arrows that could cleanly cut through an Astarte's armor and kill them in a single shot if it got them good enough. Likewise, their melee weapons were based off classic polearms and swords, however, once again, very lasery. The Kinnebrach were also heavily armed, however they had actually been banned from making a lot of their old weaponry as it was considered way too fucked up and overpowered. They somehow figured out how to channel the warp when creating weapons, hence a lot of their weapons were cursed. The blade that felled Horus and kicked off the Horus heresy was of Kinnebrach make. The Interex starships were significantly more sleek and elegant than Imperial ships, whilst their cities were awe-inspiring. Garviel noted that one of their cities on one of their outer outpost worlds would put some of the greatest cities in the Imperium to shame. So you've got an enlightened, technologically advanced human empire who are respected by even the Elder. What happens when you introduce them to the Imperium of Man? Bad things, but not in the way you may expect. When the Imperium found the Mega-Arachnid Sanctuary world and went down to investigate it, they were attacked and engaged in a vicious war with the beasts. Horus, Sanguinius, their legions, and a detachment of Emperor's children waged a long bloody campaign on the planet, which they called murder due to how hostile it was. Meanwhile, the Interex beacons had been chiming, completely ignored by the Imperium, who didn't know how a Vroomba worked, let alone cosmic maths used as a universal language. The Interex sent a small fleet to investigate, and they were like, why the fuck are you retards attacking this world? There is absolutely nothing of strategic value on it, it's full of pissed off massive spiders, and there are beacons everywhere that tell you to fuck off. Horus was like, shit, my bad dude, and he left the world, opting to follow the Interex to talk diplomacy. Horus was fascinated by the Interex's enlightened way of thinking, whilst the Interex were awestruck by the fact that they had finally found humans who were originally from Terra, the birthplace of mankind. Horus's advisors, mostly Abaddon, were furious. The Interex were for everything the Imperium was against. They were also disgusted by the fact that the Interex allowed the Kinnebrach to coexist in their society. However, Horus really wanted the meeting with the Interex to go peacefully. He had recently fought a bloody, unnecessary war on another human-occupied world. He blamed himself for letting it come to war, and he wanted future interactions with human cultures, especially ones as sophisticated and enlightened as the Interex, to go significantly better. The Interex were hospitable hosts, showing the Imperial forces a lot of respect and giving them tours of their cities and museums. However, it quickly became clear that they were stalling. They refused to engage in actual diplomacy, and instead just seemed content on having dinners and being nice. This was because the Interex weren't sure if the Imperial forces were actually secret agents of chaos, and they didn't want to sign an alliance with the great enemy. Hence the Interex's fatal flaw is revealed. They knew of chaos, they knew it was evil, and they knew they must destroy it wherever it appears. However, their actual experience with chaos was next to non-existent. They couldn't screen for it or detect it, as they didn't know what they were actually looking for. It was like the boogeyman to them. As such, during another night of fake diplomacy, Garville and one of their officers got into a discussion in which it was revealed that not only was the Imperial forces not servants of chaos, but they had no idea what it was. Before the overjoyed officer can report this news to his commanders, Erebus breaks into the Kinibrak war crimes section of the museum and he steals a potent chaos knife. He then sets fire to the museum and kills a few people. When the Interex found out what happened, they saw it as confirmation of their suspicions and almost instantly attacked Horus and his bodyguards during the dinner. The Lunar Wolves try to talk the Interex down and tell them they didn't do it, but the Interex had made up their minds. In front of them may as well have been Khorne itself for all they cared. In absolute rage and frustration, Horus fought his way to safety, and the Interex outpost world was crushed and conquered by the Lunar Wolves. Abaddon then led the Crusade fleets against the Interex worlds and systematically conquered or destroyed them. Despite the Interex's superior technology, their society was not built for war, and they were reasonably few in number. Compare that to the endless resources and manpower of the Imperium, combined with their warlike nature, the Interex never really stood a chance. They put up a good fight, but within a handful of years their armies had been crushed, their culture had been erased, their people subjugated, and their technology outlawed as tech heresy. The Kinibrak were mostly genocided as well, all because the Interex couldn't have just said, "Horus, there has been a breach of our museum and a dangerous weapon was stolen. It was one of your space marines that did it. Please wait here and disarm yourself while we investigate." Or they could have said, "Return to your ships while we investigate the issue," instead of being like, holy fuck, you piece of shit, you bold piece of shit, fuck you, everyone attack, kill that fucker." Pretty much word for word what happened. If the Interex had handled the situation better or Erebus got aborted, then the likelihood of a full-blown alliance between the Imperium and the Interex was high. Horus was extremely eager to make it work, and in the few moments where the officer realized that the Lunar Wolves weren't corrupt, he was overjoyed and he was prepared to initiate serious diplomacy. They would have taught the Imperium of chaos, hence more Primarchs would have been aware of the corruption within their legions. Horus also wouldn't have fallen, as even if he did still end up getting wounded by the Chaos Knife, the Kinibrak probably had the cure, as they were the ones that originally created the weapon in the first place. A truly noble, bright, utopian future of peace and prosperity for all awaited humanity. But frustratingly, that all came crushing down in a moment of raw misunderstanding. Say it with me, guys and gal. Fuck Erebus. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be. Where only $1 per month give you access to a boatload of anime ladies, or $10 per month gives you access to some raunchy ass cosplay images. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the real subscribe button for more frustrating content. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.